Missing children. What happened? When I was 8, my parents divorced and my dad moved to another state. I hated visiting him because he'd always treat me like a pet instead of a kid. He'd stick me in a room with video games and fast food while he went out with his new girlfriend. Every Friday night, he'd drop me off at his neighbor's place, claiming he had to work late shifts. I knew he was lying because I could smell the alcohol on him by Saturday mornings. His neighbor, Mrs. Thompson, was a sweet old lady who baked cookies and let me stay up late watching cartoons. One night, I overheard Mrs. Thompson on the phone with my dad, arguing about money. I snuck closer to listen. She was mad because he hadn't paid her for babysitting in 3 months. That's when I realized my dad was using his elderly neighbor for free childcare. The next Friday, instead of staying at Mrs. Thompson's, I decided to follow my dad. I waited until he drove off, then grabbed my bike from the garage. I pedaled as fast as I could, keeping his red truck in sight while staying far enough back that he wouldn't spot me. He pulled into the parking lot of some bar called Lucky's. Through the window, I watched him meet up with his girlfriend. They were laughing and drinking while Mrs. Thompson was stuck watching his kid for free. I was so angry. I biked back to Mrs. Thompson's house and told her everything. She started crying, saying she was too nice to turn me away but couldn't afford to keep babysitting for free. Her Social Security barely covered her own bills. That's when I came up with a plan. The next time my dad dropped me off, I waited 30 minutes, then called him in a panic. "Dad, Mrs. Thompson fell and isn't moving. You need to come back now." He rushed back, probably worried about getting sued. When he burst through the door, Mrs. Thompson and I were calmly playing Scrabble. She looked at him and said, "Oh good, you're here. Let's discuss my babysitting rates." My dad's face turned red. He tried to laugh it off, but Mrs. Thompson wasn't having it. She pulled out a notebook detailing every single night she'd watched me. It added up to over $2,000. "Pay up, or I'll tell your ex-wife you've been leaving her son with an elderly neighbor while you go drinking," she said with a sweet smile. "I'm sure the judge would love to hear about that during your next custody hearing." My dad wrote her a check that night. He was furious with me, but I didn't care. From then on, he had to actually spend time with me during visits since he couldn't afford a babysitter anymore. The best part? Mrs. Thompson used some of that money to take me to Six Flags. We rode every roller coaster while my dad sat home alone, probably wondering how he got outsmarted by his 8-year-old kid and elderly neighbor. But karma wasn't done with him yet. His girlfriend dumped him after finding out how he'd been treating Mrs. Thompson. Apparently, she had a soft spot for sweet old ladies who stand up to jerks. These days, my dad tries to make up for how he acted back then. But every time he visits, Mrs. Thompson makes sure to wave from her porch with the biggest smile.